So, I've been watching the news the last couple of days, and well, I always watch the news, but the last few days with Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, and even the police officers. Look, a lot of us, we don't have the answers of how to fix this. And some people may laugh at me when I say this, and I don't even care, but I'm about to make a point. I believe in my heart that if anybody watched Mayberry or Andy Griffith show in the city of Mayberry in South Carolina, I think it was, or North Carolina, wherever they were, they had something. Even though it was a TV show, they had something that we have missed in our community for this time. And it was the relationships between law enforcement and the community. If we can translate or transfer their approach into our communities where police officers patrolling our area knock on our doors and introduce themselves and let us know that they're there, come to community outings, and they're not just policing, but they're there to have fun. Let us see their personality, they ours. So when we're on the street, the only time that we come in contact with officers, and I'm not just talking about black people, but any person come into contact with these officers, they have a sense of who we are. We have a sense of who they are. It can go from license and registration to, hey Jim, how are you? What did I do today? Ma'am, you was speeding. How you doing, Grace? Well, I'm gonna have to write you this ticket. But it's good to see you. How your family doing? It's none of that. We don't even know them by their names. In the Andy Griffith show, they had a low crime rate. Of course, it was television. But the reason why is because they didn't do it black and white according to the policies as much as according to personalities and who they knew. They had a town drunk, DUIs all day. And instead of locking them up because he's a drunk, they locked him up for safety. Take that in. They locked him up to keep him from doing harm to others or even to himself. And then that morning, they released him, or he released himself. I'm not saying that we have to do what Andy Griffith show did. What I am saying, if we take a couple, they had something there years ago. They had something. And it was just, we need to have opportunities where our only interactions with cops are not just they're pulling us over because we did some wrong, or our car isn't sufficient up to par, but the other times that we're meeting them, they sitting in their car. We watch them sit in their cars waiting to be called on, waiting to ticket us. Those are opportunities they can be knocking on our doors, like politicians or people who campaign, to introduce themselves, to let us know who they are, to organize something so that we do not have a fear of them just because they are police officers. I believe if we take that approach, things that happen, even with Sterling, with Alton Sterling, the market owner or the convenience store clerk, he knew him. He's been knowing him for years. He knew this man probably had a gun. He knew that this man was selling CDs or soliciting. It's a lot of things that went wrong, quote unquote, in that situation. Just just that alone. But for him to have enough compassion and humility to say that's just Alton. He ain't bothering nobody. No need for calling the cops and making him get away from my property for loitering or for soliciting or for whatever. No, it was a sense of community there. And I believe that in order to bridge the gap with police officers, and not just blacks, but I'm saying police officers in the community, if it start in community, from community to community, police officers get out of their car And they go and they speak to people, not just because they assume that they're doing something wrong, or they fit a profile, or they're ticketing them for speeding or improper lane change, or whatever. If they take out the time and we do the same as people, I believe that would be the start to ending this civil war with police versus everybody, or police versus the blacks, or police versus the Hispanic, or police versus the minority, or whatever. We want to have their support, but it feels like they're anti-community unless it's community within the police community. And we have become anti-cop because of how things have been. And I'm going to leave this here. If my mom only speaks to me when I've done something wrong, I would develop a hate and a discomfort toward her. But if she shows me some encouragement, even when I'm not doing wrong, then I can understand this is a part of the chastising process when I've erred. If police take the approach of speaking to us, getting to know us, being at some functions or whatever, and let us see them and talk to them outside of when we do wrong, maybe we wouldn't have so much anger and hurt and bias against them.